To this now, the Electoral Court has ordered Umkhonto weSizwe's Visvin, Reddy and Bonginkosi Khanyile to pay a fine of 150,000 rand each, suspended for 5 years for violating the Electoral Act. Elton Hart, who is an attorney at the UJ Law Clinics, joins us now to further unpack this. Elton, a very good afternoon to you. Great having you with us. So firstly, I know we want to talk about, of course, that fine pertaining to Visvin, Reddy as well as Khanyile, but I want to understand, what do you understand in the matter of the IEC Vote Rigging Case being withdrawn by the MK party? Because according to a statement by the MK yesterday, they cited this to be a provisional withdrawal due to some technicalities they say still needed to be addressed.
No, I think maybe the MK party is of the view that they have not gathered sufficient evidence to actually convince a court of law or maybe the IEC that vote rigging actually happened in the elections, or it can just be that they don't have a case, because from when they said the vote rigging happened up until now, I think it's now nearly a month and a couple of days, and we haven't seen any concrete statement or concrete evidence from them coming to the fore to actually substantiate the claim. But we never know. They might have it in the arsenal, but for me, it is. I already think if they had that information, they wouldn't have been backing out of this one. Because I think they have now seen that the GNU has been formed in most of the provinces as well as on national level, and they have to now accept the situation and go and fill the opposition benches. And I think they might be fearing that the court might make an adverse finding against them and also slap them with a court order. Hence, they have actually withdrawn their application.
And what does it mean then, of course, Elton, when they say it's a provisional withdrawal? Does it mean that it is possible for the matter to still be brought back into the court system?
Now, one needs to look at, when they talk about withdrawal, it can be now twofold here. You can actually go to court and say, okay, I have a matter, but it wasn't enrolled, and I'm actually withdrawing the action or the application completely. That means that's the end of it. So if you want to start with it, you have to start all afresh with it. Or they can just say, it was enrolled and we're actually just withdrawing it from the court roll so that the hearing date is not allocated. So there's the two types of withdrawals. The one is like you withdraw the action completely. And if you withdraw it completely, it means that you have to tender the wasted cost of the opponent. So when they talk about now this provisional withdrawal, it might seem that they may have had a provisional court date and they say, we're not going to proceed on that court date and we'll proceed later on. That might be the one of the two, but it was not clear. Their statement of provisional withdrawal was a little bit vague, so you can't really see unless you go to the court file and actually check what they did.
Thank you so much for that clarity, Elton, because that's what we've actually all been trying to decipher this afternoon. So let's look into the matter now of the party candidates, the two of them being fined for violating the Electoral Act. I mean, Visvin is a member of parliament now. Does this ruling have any adverse effect on his membership presently or in the near future?
No, obviously, I think when Parliament convenes now, most probably they might now actually try and go after him as a member of Parliament for stating that there will actually be riots if the trademark of Umkhonto weSizwe is taken away. Obviously, this Khanyile young man, he is no longer part of MK, and they could say that we actually sort of fired or expelled him from MK because of him making that statements, that defamatory statements. And that might be the thing. But obviously, the Electoral Court has jurisdiction over them, and they can actually sort of impose certain sanctions. And they, on the other hand, can actually appeal, and they would be appealing to the Supreme Court in Bloemfontein to say, listen, yeah, we think what we said was maybe not against the code of conduct, the electoral code of conduct, or whatever the case may be, and take it on appeal. But I don't see them actually succeeding on appeal. So for me, that is something that will stick with them. And if they violate the code or any other act of Parliament in such a way, they might be taken to task with this fine that they have to pay it.
Now the charge, Elton, of course, incitement of violence became quite popular. I'm sure you remember during the unrest back in 2021. But just firstly, how serious is this charge? Two, is it easy to prove, particularly when we're dealing with elements like social media? And what are the direct repercussions if you are, in this case and instance, charged and even found guilty? Can one actually face jail time? How long that will be? And does this amount to a criminal record? I know it's quite a lot to undertake.
No. It can amount to a criminal record. Remember, breaking of any piece of legislation in South Africa, it's an offence for which you can be imprisoned. Obviously, one needs to look at the type of offence, the circumstances under which the offence has been undertaken or made, and then based on that, a judge or a magistrate will decide what type of sanction to give. But imprisonment is one of them. Periodical imprisonment or a fine can also come up. But for that young man, Khanyile, he on social media, he said blatantly that if there is going to be a situation where MK is stopped from participating in certain parts of or there won't be an election if President Zuma is not allowed to stand for or to run as a member of parliament or as president. He said that blatantly, so he's a slam dunk. His case is there. The evidence is there. He said it, so it was easy for the Electoral Court to make that. And if the prosecuting authority is actually eager and willing, they can even go and criminally charging him for inciting violence, because now the former president was not allowed to stand for office. So if there was now some violent activity that happened after that, and it was from MK, that would have opened the door completely for him to be criminally charged. But I think they might pose that saying the Electoral Court dealt with him, he's got a fine. If he contravenes this, then we will criminally charge him. But this opened the way for him to be easily now criminally prosecuted.
Elton, thank you so much for your input as well as clarity on this matter. That is Mr. Elton Hart there. He's an attorney at the UJ Law Clinic.